Is it on now?
It's going to hurt your neck. Do you put it back here so you can see Swami?
Tapakathamritam tapta jivanam kaviviridhitam kalmashapam Shravanamangalam Shri Madatatam Bhuvigrinanti ye Bhurida Jana. The nectar of thy words are the life for those who are scorched by the world. The words which have been uttered by the knowers of truth, which wipe out sins, the very hearing of which is beneficial, which are beautiful, pleasing to the ears, pleasing to the hearts, which are inexhaustible. Those who recount them on the earth are the givers of plenty. Om, peace, peace, peace be told. Stories of the Vedanta Monks, Part 2. Reminiscences of Swami Saradeshananda, a disciple of Holy Mother, and he had a great opportunity to serve Mother from 1915 to 1920. Very closely he lived with Holy Mother in Jarambaji and Udbodhan also. His background, he went to the school, I think up to 6th grade, 4th grade, 4th or 6th grade. But he was a self-made person. He knew Bengali, Hindi, Sanskrit, English, Punjabi, Urdu, Tamil. He knew all these languages. And he is a great writer. He wrote the biography of Chaitanya, biography of Muhammad, which has not been published. Great writer, great thinker, great monk. He told his early life. Swami Premishananda was also a disciple of Mother. They are very close. Premishananda was born in 1884 and Swami Saradeshananda was born in 1892. Only a few years older. And Premishananda was connected with freedom movement. You know, India under British rule, British, French and Portuguese. So in 1947, India got freedom. So they have 4 groups up there, Shurid, Bandhav, Anushilan Samiti, and another group. So Premishananda, who was connected with Shurid, Shurid means friend, and he was involved with all the young people, tremendous enthusiasm, want to make India free from the foreign rules. They're fighting. I remember a story when Aurobindo was arrested and was presented in front of the judge, British. Tell me what is crime I have done. Is if you love your motherland, is a crime or not, that you decide first. Then you give me punishment. You British people, you love your country, don't you? I do the same thing. Is it a crime? That's beautiful. You're loving a motherland is a crime, then I am a criminal. All of you are criminals. So the Premishananda went to Dhaka, they have a meeting, and from there he brought a copy of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. These people are from Sylhet, from the eastern part of India. So that Suri Swami, they became Ramakrishna Swami. They put it into Sri Ramakrishna's name. And they used to correspond with M, the recorder of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So he went to Calcutta from Assam, from Sylhet. And there they got acquainted with the other monks of the Ramakrishna order. So M told them, "You don't move here and there. If you really want to be a monk, go to Belur Math. You will not sit down?"
No, I'm good.
Go to Belur Math if you want to be a monk. So many young people came in contact with Premishananda and joined the Ramakrishna order. Swami says that during our time, our area was like a university. We used to talk about Vedas, Vedanta, Shruti, Smriti, Nyaya, Purana, Tantra, Ayurveda, grammar, astrology, astronomy, all these things we used to discuss. And there are great scholars also. So he came in contact with Premesh Maharaj, and he was the family priest of that family. He went to Belur Math in 1911. In 1913, he came to meet Holy Mother in Udbodhan, but heard that Mother was not in Calcutta, she was in Jairambati, her birthplace. So at that time he came in contact with Swami Saradananda, Yoginma, Gulabma. So he got the information how to go to Jairambati, overnight train from Calcutta to Bishnupur, then 28 miles walk or bullock cart, either one. So 1913 they tried, but one of his friends, while getting into the train, he fell down and broke his hand, so their visit was cancelled. Then in 1915 he went. On the first visit, Mother said, "Oh, you have come." She recognized, "I shall give you mantra and brahmacharya, initiation." Same day. Then he asked, "How long I will have to practice these vows?" "Till death you will have to practice these vows." So after brahmacharya, he stayed with the Mother as his attendant, shopping, doing all kinds of errands. When mother was not well, he cooked, he rubbed oil on mother's feet, and sometimes when mother was suffering from malaria, fed Holy Mother. So he did all personal service of Holy Mother. Blessed is this soul. Then he got malaria. Holy Mother was very concerned. Several times, again and again, malaria. I still remember, we used to get malaria in 1940s in our village. Ooh, 105 degrees. I still remember, Mapagreen, Paludrine. Every Sunday, one Paludrine. Quinine mixture and alkaline mixture from our village dispensary. Amazing. So he became very sick. So Holy Mother sent him to home. Here we cannot afford you good food. You go home, but don't get involved. And when you are well, then come back. So he was not coming. Holy Mother sent a letter. Then immediately he came back. But he wanted to take sannyas. But because he was a very Vaishnava family, he is the eldest son, you have a duty that when your parents died, you will have to do the funeral service and the Shraddha ceremony. So he was postponing because his parents are alive. What happened? Swami Brahmananda passed away. Swami Shivananda was also getting very towards the end of his life. So in 1930, he took sannyas. His mother died. He performed that ceremony, but his father was alive. Then he became a monk. After that, his father also died. But he was not recognized as a monk. So in 1920, when he was serving Holy Mother, Swami Saradeshananda said, you stay a few days in Belur Math, then we shall enroll you as a monk. So he went to Belur Math and just stayed a few months, and then he became a monk. Previously there was no rules and regulations. What the Jari disciples said, that's it, that's final. Now we have rules. If you join, pre-probationer, 1 hour, 1 year. Then 2 years probationer. Then after 3 years, training center, 2 years. After 5 years, you will get first vow. Then another 4 years. Then you will get final vows, you become a Swami. So after 9 years, you will be a monk. But during this Ramakrishna's Jari disciples, they could give sannyas at any time. There are not too many rules. Then mother passed away. He was present at that time in Belur Math. He wrote a vivid description how mother's body was cremated and all those things. I wrote those things in Sri Sarada Devi and the Divine Play. Then when in 1923 Holy Mother's temple was dedicated, he became a pujari for 1.5 years. Then he began to travel, keeping on foot from Bengal, Odisha, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, then Kerala, then Maharashtra, then Gujarat, in all this South India, North India, West India, he traveled. Many years. You know, nowadays traveling at that time, no money in hand, begging food, barefoot, walking, thousands of miles. But then during his pilgrimage, where he stayed, there is no record. Only he says in 1930, I was a worker in Dhaka Mosque for some times. That he said. In his relationship with the other monks, Swami Bhuteshanandaji was the president of the order, came to see him in Vrindavan. So the recorder says, Bhuteshanandaji sat on his bed and both are talking and please, Bhuteshanandaji says, please bring my shoes. Then I asked the attendant, how did you clean my shoes? Please, yes, how? Please, through my hand. Please, you did not get a piece of cloth or something like that. They're making all kinds of fun. But Bhuteshanandaji knelt down, the president of the order knelt down and bowed down to him. When Bhuteshanandaji left, Gopesh Maharaj major remark, he is such a great scholar. Look his humility. You see, there is a saying in our literature, Vidya dadati vinayam, Vidya, knowledge, learning. Dadati gives, vinayam, humility. If you find a scholar, big ego, somebody inflated with ego, humility. This I noticed our Houston Smith, such a humble person. Such learned man, but very humble. He served Swami Abhedananda also for a short time. Swami Abhedananda preached Vedanta in America for 25 years. Then in 1921, he returned to India. At that time, the Swami also served him. He says, I have seen 9 direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. Swami Brahmananda, Shivananda, Premananda, Saradananda, Turiyananda, Abhedananda, Subodhananda, Akhandananda and Digyanananda. But I went to see Latu Maharaj, but that day he was not in Udbodhan, in Balaram's house, so I could not meet him. He practiced austerity for a long time in Rishikesh, Tulsi Mott. You see, in the Himalayan region, in Uttarkashi, in Rishikesh at that time, there are some chhatra, some rich people would provide food to these mendicants. In some place, once a day. In some places, twice a day. Some chapati or rice, dal, or a vegetable. That's all. That's it. But AIM used to send 2 rupees a month so that this monk can buy a little milk or anything necessity. I have seen hymns that record Gopesh Maharaj, 2 taka. He had a desire to come and stay in Vrindavan. But Radharani fulfilled his desire. Before coming to Vrindavan, he was in Khetri, in Rajasthan. So Swami Vishwadevananda, Bimal Maharaj, I met him. He was a very interesting person. Such renunciation. One day, he was a worker of Vrindavan Ashram. At that time I knew him. He was eating some chanachur, some mixed things. So, he was trying to get the railway parcel. The railway receipt also was in his hand. In the meantime, a kite hit his chanachur in his hand and took away the railway receipt also. So he could not go to the railway station. He straight walked up to Delhi, 80 miles on foot. And ashrama was worried, where has he gone? After a few days, they came to know that he is in Delhi. He's supposed to release the railway parcel. Carefree, so big man. I still remember that story. So Vishwadevananda invited him, Maharaj, why don't you come and just stay with us in Vrindavan? So he came to Vrindavan, but he will not take food from the Vrindavan ashram, and he will not stay. But if I do not give service, why should I stay? So he used to stay in a cottage of Sri Rangoji's temple, Ranganathji's temple, and bake food from the temple. In the Govindaji's temple, there is a provision that every day 5 monks will be fed. They have a fund for that. So one monk left, so he was included in that group so that he will get some food. But he will not take ashrama food. If I do not give service, if I do not serve Sri Ramakrishna, why should I eat his food? Very much, they are very moral, ethical people. Then he started staying in Govindaji's another cottage. Then the authority, the head Swami in Vrindavan begged, Maharaj, stay with us. But you will not have to, we created a fund, Sadhu Seva fund. From that fund we shall feed you. You will not have to eat ashrama food. Then he agreed. But we created fund for 2 monks we can feed, Sadhu Seva fund. Then he agreed to come and stay in the ashrama. It must be in 76, 77. I met him in 1977. So nearly 30 years he lived in Vrindavan. He passed away in 1988. I think so. So 1 year Swami Saradeshananda, president of the order, requested him to go to Agartala, a new center we started. So he went. Somebody asked, why did you go? It is the order of the president of the order. It is the order of the president of the Ramakrishna order. I must obey. He went for 1 year and then he came back. He decided that he won't leave Vrindavan anymore. Well, one day I said, Maharaj, let us go to Kamarpuku Jarambati. This brahmachari, his attendant told him. Well, with this body I cannot go any place. Oh, you took a vow that without leaving Vrindavan you will not go any place. But I did not take any vow. I have never dreamt that I would be in Vrindavan such a long time. My health is not good. Wherever I go, I shall have to give trouble to the people. But you were telling that I went to Agartala, but you know, which is the order of the president. So that is the reason I went. Swami Premashananda says, do you know Ramakrishna Mission President? We think that he is a direct representative of Sri Ramakrishna. So we all bow down to the President. The Premesh Maharaj says, President is just like an image. Durga Pratima, every year we worship the image and we immerse it. Every year we bring a new image. So our President also we replace. Very nicely he said. Pratima Puja. When Vered Saranandaji would come, he used to inquire about Gopesh Maharaj. Maharaj was also ready. Then as soon as President Maharaj come, he would kneel down and bow to him. Then President Maharaj says, I brought a pair of vegetarian shoe for you. You can go even to the temple. You see leather center with leather shoes, we never go enter the temple. But it is a cloth, made with cloth, canvas, cloth. Vrindavan is very extreme climate, cold in winter, hot in summer. So he says, but it is a vegetarian shoe. You will not have to remove the shoe when you enter the temple. I remember in 1959 I went to Vrindavan before I joined. 1959. So I stayed in the old ashrama, which is back on the bank of the river Jamuna. When the river flows, water comes to the center. There's a lot of cobras around. Ooh, lot of snakes. So I stayed there for a week, I remember, in 59. But we got a piece of land in the middle of the city, Vivekananda Road now. So they transferred the big hospital now. Nurses training center, monks quarter, temple, huge affair now, Vrindavan. So he stayed in the old center, first in the new center as a like a darwan guy, keep so that people will not steal our things, our building materials. But when this house was ready, monks moved here, he moved to the old center. He wanted silence, privacy. He met him, there was another Swami Nolini Maharaj, Madhurjananda. I also met him. In later life, he became blind. Oh, you are blind. I shall come and read scripture to you. I shall read gospel of Ramakrishna to you. In this way, he used to serve other monks. He wrote that Nolini Maharaj, Madhurjananda, but he was telling us one story. His sannyasa was postponed for 1 year. So all monks asked Maharaj, what happened? Why your sannyasa bhav was postponed for 1 year? He said, I was then a brahmachari. I was a pujari of Swamiji's temple. So we offered Swamiji fruits and sweets and a green coconut. So it was summer. So on my way, I drank that water of green coconut And Bharat Maharaj saw it. And he did not say anything. That is the reason, as a punishment, my sannyasa was postponed for 1 year. So one day the monks asked, Maharaj, do you have any desire to eat something? I love to eat Amriti. Amriti is a, jalebi? It is a royal edition of jalebi. A jalebi, it is very decorative, Amriti. Same ingredients, but in a different shape. But this time in Vrindavan, the Amriti is not available. Ask something else. No, Amriti. But monks are very unhappy that here we could not fulfill the desire of this monk. The head Swami was going to Delhi, and it was some Buddhanandaji, another monk died, and his Banjara feast. So he brought 2 buckets of Amriti from Delhi, 2 big boxes of Amriti. So immediately one monk went to took Amriti to Nolini Maharaj's room. Nolini Maharaj, oh, Amriti has come. He took to Amriti, and then after lunch, then he went to bed and dead. Bed, dead. Then everybody says, look, 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 that monk's last desire, how it was fulfilled. Sri Ramakrishna fulfilled his last desire to Amriti. But sometimes it is very difficult to understand the monks. But I was living with him 30 years. I never heard a simple criticism from his mouth. When some monks would go for tapasya here and there, Swami Saradeshananda said, where will you go? Go to our old facility, old center of Vrindavan, on the bank of the Yamuna. There is a bathroom, running water, electricity, and shrine, very quiet place. Go and do tapasya there. You see, in tapasya time, do you know what you need? You need some regular food, so that you will not have to cook, you will not have to go to market, you will not have to do anything. And it is 5-6 kilometers, 4-5 kilometers from the old center to the new center. But somebody brings food, some workers, only do tapasya. If you get 2 meals, that's it. That's it. 2 meals a day, that's it. And you will not have to do anything. Remaining time yours. I also sometimes think, a Benares also, just a little food, just go to seclusion. But there was a book sales counter in the ashrama, and this brahmachari was the caretaker of that bookshop. So a man bought a book, I think bought some books, but you have some 5 rupees, but you will have to return 5 paisa you will have to return. So he was asking, right now you return that 5 paisa. What is right price you take, and remaining you must return. But sometimes I feel guilty, when I sell a book, my book is $19.95, some people give $20, I cannot give 5 cents. Sometimes I feel guilty, Sometimes I ask, I do not have any change. So $39.95, they give $40. 50 cents I am supposed to return. But anyhow. Well, I went to the guest house and returned 5 cents to him, and he was. But that is the reason we appreciate honesty and integrity of the Ramakrishna monks. Very truthful. A foreign couple used to correspond with Swami Saradeshananda, and they came to Vrindavan to see him, and they stayed in guest house. They used to come and bow down every day and talk to the Swami. One day the man asked, Maharaj, shall I ask you a question? Yes. Have you seen God, or do you have any experience of God? Maharaj replied, I have no desire to have kind of vision, but I experienced God's grace. And then he got very excited. He lay down, he was lying down, all of a sudden he changed his size. Then he asked his attendant, ask them to leave my room right now. Then this brahmachari told that foreign couple, please you go, Maharaj is not feeling good. Then he says, now rub my back, downward. His kundalini has awakened, just pressing, moving upward. Press, move. Well, Maharaj, what happened? Don't talk. ভাই ঊর্ধ্বগামী হয়েছে, এখন কথা বললো না, don't talk. Sometimes people would come and that monk, lying down in bed, looking at him. What do you see? Maharaj, I see you are floating in bliss. You are floating in bliss, that I see. I said, Maharaj, could you tell us how can we achieve this kind of state? Give up all desires. If you have no desires, you will achieve this state. Then he said, perhaps I have still a little desire, otherwise this body would not last. I remember in our Vedanta class, Baba or Bodhatmanandaji used to say, Vasana pushyati bapuhu. Vasana, desire, preserves human body. If you have no desire, do you know what will happen? Your body will fall on the ground right now, like a ripe fruit falls from the tree. Boom, you will fall. It is desires holding us. Then one evening he told his attendant, I shall never return. This is my last birth. I have no attachment, no desire for anything in this world, not even for my body. This is Jivan Mukta, liberated while you are free. In this connection, I remember another incident. Swami Saradeshananda, he was a very learned Vedanta monk, came to Vrindavan. So this brahmachari attendant would put Swami on a wheelchair and move around the Vrindavan temple around. Dhireshanandaji was watching with folding hands. Motherji's happy. He was an illumined soul watching. So Gopesh Maharaj was, oh, Girija Maharaj, what are you looking? Premesh Maharaj also শেষের দিকে ওই স্বামী প্রেমেশানন্দ also ওই সনাতন আমার স্বামী সুহিতানন্দজি. Oh, he used to move around Swami Premeshananda around the Banaras hospital, that ground. There also I was standing there. Premesh Maharaj also asked, Girija Maharaj, what are you looking? Premesh Maharaj also told me, this is my last part, I shall never come back again. Swami Maharaj বললেন, হ্যাঁ, he is right. In this stage, শরীরের প্রতি বিতৃষ্ণা হয়. We have so much attachment for our body. At that time, disgusted with the body. You know, you love this. Actually, you love your body. Then Dhireshanandaji requested him, Maharaj, in your reminiscences, there are some places, you did not mention your name. If you mention those names, it would be help for us to connect and to understand better. Every day, Dhireshanandaji would go to see Swami Saradeshanandaji, but he requested, don't raise any serious question. It gives me pain. But one day I requested him, Maharaj, I have a couple of questions. আচ্ছা, গভীর ধ্যানে কীরকম অনুভব সে সম্বন্ধে কিছু বলুন. When you in deep meditation, what kind of experience you have? That I want to know. It is an extremely important question. When you have a deep meditation, two things will happen. I can tell you. One is you will forget the place where you are, you don't remember. And you forget the time. Space and time will disappear from your mind in deep meditation. You know it very well. সমাধি বা গভীর ধ্যানের অনুভূতি শব্দ দিয়ে ব্যাখ্যা করা বড় কঠিন. It is extremely difficult to express that experience through words. তবে এইটুকু বলা যায়, গভীর ধ্যানের পূর্ব মুহূর্তগুলি মন যখন পুনরায় বাহ্য জগতে ফিরে আসে তখন খুব আনন্দ অনুভূত হয়. মানে after merging into deep meditation or samadhi, when you come back, you can feel tremendous joy, peace, bliss, happiness. That experience comes from deep meditation. When you come to the external world, you bring from Satchidananda, you extract that bliss and that bliss comes. মন যখন ধীরে ধীরে শান্ত সময়তে তখন অনুভব হয় যেন বিমল আনন্দ সাগরে ডুবে যাচ্ছি. Slowly when the mind becomes calm and subtle, at that time you feel as if I am drowned in the ocean of bliss. आनंद 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 केवल स्थान काल पारिपार्श्विक अवस्था एमनकि निजेर देहेर कथा मने थाके ना एट दैट टाइम स्पेस टाइम एनवायरनमेंट सराउंडिंग्स इवन बॉडी no feeling no consciousness about the external world আবার যখন মন ধীরে ধীরে বাহ্য জগতে ফিরে আসে তখন সেই অবস্থা আনন্দগতি মনকে ভরিয়ে রাখে then again when you are in the external world moving around do you know what happens an undercurrent of bliss flows inside he is telling his own experience that when after deep meditation what we achieve you know these people have comes tells from their anubhuti, from experience. Mana pratyak chitti saviditam, he mentioned, he quoted from, it is verse got I translated in my English book. Anyhow, I have the unit of the translation here. Well, this Shiva Mahimna Stotra, I think it is verse 25. Mano pratyak chitti sabidam rayat tam uruta pradrisha drovana pravadasalilot sangita dirsha yadalikalladam radaiva nivajyatam amritamay dadati antastattam kimopi jaminasta. When he was talking about bliss. In this verse, only a little bit about that bliss has been mentioned. Swami explained this experience with few words. And Girija Maharaj, Swami Saradeshananda was very happy. But you know, we ordinary people, our minds are not pure, clean, so we do not understand it. Then Gopesh Maharaj said, no more talk, please go. If I talk more, my air pressure will go up. And I do not have that strong body anymore, very weak. I shall get pain. When Saradeshananda left the room, Swami asked his attendant, now rub my backbone. Press, rub. What a devotee came with his family from Lucknow. Maharaj was very fond of them. He asked his wife, why do you take so much trouble, spending money, time and all this effort to come here? Maharaj, we come here to see you. When we see you, we get so much joy. Our hearts become full when we come and see you. We are family people, we do not call on God like you. Maharaj told them, do you have a copy of Sri Sri Chaitanya's life, which I wrote? Read that book. You will find me there. You come in this hot weather from such a distance. Maharaj, only seeing you, all of our pain, suffering goes away. Maharaj translated Chaitanya's life into his life. Such renunciation, such purity, some yearning, longing, wisdom, ecstasy, bhakti, all these things he absorbed in his life. His attendant used to bring from the temple bell, jui, jasmine, jati, golap. These flowers from the temple he used to bring and put it in a plate and sprinkle water and put it in Swami's shrine. And that fragrance was, the whole room was full of fragrance of that flower. Maharaj scolded him. Why do you bring these flowers? Maharaj, it is a prasadi food. I bring it, they will throw away, I bring it to your room. But I could not figure it out. Why is he scolding me? One day I forced him. Maharaj, tell me, why are you scolding me? I bring these flowers. Shall I tell you the truth? Listen. Then your bhakti, your devotion will disappear. You do not bring those flowers because it is the prasadi flower of Thakur. You do not bring out of devotion. You bring it because it has a beautiful fragrance. You do not bring marigold, hibiscus, tagore. You do not bring those flowers. You cannot hide their mind. For the reason I do not like that incense with beautiful fragrance. Of course, he said that I started to cough if there is incense in my room. I also cannot bear incense. There are some flowers in India which are meant for worship, which are not meant for worship. Rose. You will not find the traditional people will use rose for that. Then Rajanigonda, tube rose, strong fragrance. Those flowers will go to the bridal chamber where there is enjoyment, Tube rose. Those are for enjoyment. Those flowers are not for worship. The traditional people, they know. In Vrindavan, after Arati, they used to distribute batasha, that sugar kanji. And he used to take that sugar kanji. Why do you take sugar kanji? That is for the devotees, not for the monks. For monks, you get prasad in the dining table. Up to this tonight. It is not a lecture, I say it is not a lecture, it is life. 100% ideal life. These monks demonstrated that. They do not give long lectures. स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः यथाग्निर्दहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिताय या सर्वविद्या स्वरूपं तं Saradam pranamamham. Jai Ma.